بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. What you have just heard is what the scholars of al-Hadith, the scholars of al-Islam have called the Khutbatul Hajjah. And the companions, may Allah be pleased with all of them, they said that the Nabi al-Mustafa al-Mukhtar sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he used to teach them this Khutbatul Hajjah with the same emphasis that he would teach them a surah from the Quran. So in the teaching of the Quran, everyone knew and everyone knows that that's an important issue. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam used to teach this issue to his companions with the same emphasis that he would teach them a surah from the Quran. So the uqala from amongst us and the hukama from amongst us, we understand from that whatever is inside of Khutbatul Hajjah is important from what's being said. In addition to that, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam al-Aqib, al-Hashir, if he wanted to give the Khutbatul Jum'ah, he would do this Khutbatul Hajjah. If he wanted to do the Khutbah of al-Eid, he would do this Khutbatul Hajjah. If he wanted to address the people, he would do this Khutbatul Hajjah. It is an extremely important issue. If he wanted to do a nikah, he would do this Khutbatul Hajjah. I would advise those students from amongst you and all of you, elderly people in between, those who are professionals and other than professionals, students, try to memorize Khutbatul Hajjah, and even more important than that, go back to it to read it to understand. Why would the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, being the intelligent person he was, when it came to addressing issues, why would he say this every single week? The people heard it at least once. And then the statement is, the best speech is the speech of Allah. The best speech is the speech of Allah. Occupy yourself with the kalam of Allah. Use the kalam of Allah, the Quran, for dalil. Don't let your dalil be Sheikh so-and-so said. Don't let your dalil, your proof be, my father, he does it like this. My madhab said. Nothing against the madhab, but that's not a dalil. The best speech is the speech of Allah. And the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Everybody else makes mistakes. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is ma'soom. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam la yantiqu an al-hawa. He doesn't speak from his desires. Everything that he says is revelation. And he also mentioned in that Khutbatul Hajjah that all of the affairs that are newly invented in the religion, whether you like it or you don't like it, whether I like it or I don't like it, everything that the companions did not worship Allah with, everything that the companions didn't understand from this religion, any and everything, no matter how much it makes you feel good, no matter how many people are doing it, if it is a newly invented matter, then it is going astray. And every going astray leads to the hellfire. Whether you like it or you don't like it is irrelevant. He used to say that every single week, impressing this community with the issue, pressing this community with this issue of be of the people who follow the athar, who follow the ahadith, who follow the Quran, who have dalil, and not to be of the people who don't know what they're doing. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. They're those people, they don't know what they're doing. They worship Allah and they don't know what they're doing. And they hold on to that and they get upset for it and they have a ta'assub for it. Today, inshallah ta'ala, our presentation is about something that was chosen for this community and dhikr. Remind you, brothers, an important issue, and that is some of the fiqh, the comprehension, points that we should understand, that we should be reminded of, that we should know concerning the major signs. The major signs. The major signs before Yawm al-Qiyamah. And no doubt an issue like this is important for many reasons, but I name just a few. Studying about the major signs is important because, number one, it deals with our aqeedah and what we believe in. And unlike the Jews and the Christians and the Sikhs and the Hindus and the atheists and these other people, when they speak about what they believe in and what they don't believe in, they don't speak based upon proofs that have been divinely revealed. They speak about it based upon their desires, based upon their feelings, based upon speculation, based upon what was handed down to them. But in Islam, we speak about the unseen, and we speak about things connected to our aqeedah, what we believe, our theology, based upon dalil. So throughout the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal, He challenged the Yahud and the Nasara and the Kitab. He challenged them. He challenged the Kuffar of Quraysh, who used to make so many claims. He said to them in many ayats, Hatu burhanakum in kuntum sadiqeen. Bring your proof that what you're saying is true. Isa is the son of Allah. Bring your proof about that. The Jews said that they are the beloved sons of Allah and that they are the ones who are better than everybody else. Bring your dalil if that's the truth. So studying about any issue connected with the unseen, the aqeedah, is from the important affairs. Not only that, it is the single most important affair in this religion. Knowing who Allah is, what He does, what He doesn't do, where He is, where He's not, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another reason why studying and learning about the major signs, why it's important, is because this is what the companions used to occupy their time with. And as we mentioned a number of times, we won't, inshallah, fail to mention this any and every time we come here. The religion that Allah Azza wa Jalla is going to accept from the people, Yawm al-Qiyamah, is a religion that those companions were upon. Anything that the companions were not doing, people, they do those things, it's not from the religion. We have to be able to reference what we're doing, what we're saying, what we're believing, how we're worshiping, back to those companions. Unfortunately, that concept, although it's fundamental and it's simple, a lot of people don't embrace it. People take liberties in the deen of Allah, and they offer to the people, and they offer for themselves ideas, concepts, forms of worship that have not been sanctioned. Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Kashif, Bilal, Aisha, Khadija, may Allah be pleased with all of them. You ask the person who's doing this idea, this form of ibadah, were those companions doing that? Did they understand that? The answer is going to be no. And why do you do it? Abdullah ibn Mas'ud told the people, and he is who he was, ittabi'u wa la tabtadi'u, laqad kufitu. He said, follow. You ummah, this ummah of Muhammad, you Muslims, follow what has been left for you, and don't invent and don't innovate, and don't introduce anything. What those companions did is enough for us, radiyallahu anhu. So when we find them doing something a particular way, we have to do the same thing. So this issue is an important issue because this is something that the companions used to do. And what was collected by Imam Muslim on the authority of Hudayth ibn Usayd al-Ghifari radiyallahu anhu, قال خرج علينا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ونحن نتذاكر فقال لنا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما تذاكرون قلنا نذكر الساعة يا رسول الله قال صلى الله عليه وسلم إنها لن تقوم حتى ترون قبلها 10 آيات. He said, we were sitting down, the companions, we were sitting amongst ourselves. And then the Nabi came out to us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We were studying between ourselves, making mudhakira. We were studying. The Nabi saw us. He said, what are you people studying? What are you people studying? Now, I want to stop here because there are some Muslims who believe that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Mustafa, he knew the ilm al-ghayb. This is one of the clear proofs that the Nabi didn't know the ilm al-ghayb. Any hadith that you see, that you read, where the Prophet asked the question, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, like, what's your name? Whose camel is this? What are you people studying? Whose grave is this? Anytime he asked a question, it shows he didn't know, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Someone would come to him and ask him a question. He says, I don't know. Tell me about the ruh, ya Muhammad. He would say, Allah knows best. And then the ayah will be revealed. Jibril would come to him and ask him, when is Yawmul Qiyamah? When is it? He said, the one who was asking knows just as much as the one who's being questioned. So if someone comes and he insists, as some Muslims do, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he knew the ilm al-ghayb, the question. Did Abu Bakr believe that? Did Umar believe that? Did Uthman, Ali, Ukasha, Bilal, did they believe that? The answer is going to be, wallahi, no, they didn't believe that, because that's not what Allah revealed in the Quran. And that's not what the Prophet ﷺ taught them. So again, any hadith you read where he said, whose camel is that? Who was the one who said that when I came from Rukur? I heard someone make a dua. Who said that? Whose rope is that? Who tied that rope in the masjid, holding on to it to make salah? Who did that? What were you people studying right now? Anytime you see or you read something like that, it's a dalil that he doesn't know the ilm al-ghayb. Only Allah knows the ilm al-ghayb. قُلْ لَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ الْغَيْبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Tell them, Ya Muhammad, Allah said in the Quran, tell them, no one knows the unseen. No one in the heavens and no one in the earth knows the unseen except Allah. Only Allah. The malaika don't know, the jinn don't know, the ulama don't know, the awliya don't know, no one knows. Soothsayers don't know, only Allah. But Allah has given some people the ability to know certain things. He has given some of the malaika the ability to know certain things. But only Allah knows the ilm al-ghayb. What are you people studying? The companion said, we are studying between ourselves the sa'ah, Yawmul Qiyamah, the hour. He said to them, no, that Yawmul Qiyamah will not be established until 10 things happen, until you see 10 things. And from this hadith comes the 10 major signs. Now I want to, not challenge, but I want to ask this community. Let's come up with the 10 major signs between ourselves. We're going to name the 10 major signs between ourselves from our religion. Again, the Yahud and the Nasara, they make a lot of claims. If you were to sit with them and say, where do you get that from? They're going to say, I don't know. It's just kalam. But our religion is not like that. Our religion is based upon dalil. So we want to come up collectively with the 10 major signs. Who wants to go first? The
return of Isa.
Isa ibn Maryam coming back is one of the signs. Anybody else? Sheikh. The Dajjal is one of the 10 major signs. Ya'juj and Ma'juj is number 3. Put your hand up. Now, the Daba or the big animal is going to come. That's 4. 6 more to go, inshallah. Tfaddal.
The sun comes from us.
The sun is going to rise from the east, from the west. From the west. 5 more.
The smoke?
The smoke, as Abu Bakr said, is going to come from Yemen. And it's going to drive the people to the Mahshar, to Yawmul Qiyamah. 4 more left, Ummat al-Islam. We have about 600 people here. 4 more left out of 600. Faddal. The Mahdi. 3 more. 3 more.
رجال
وكان من عدم.
رجال.
They mentioned that, Sheikh. Sheikh Ahmed, Sallamakallah.
النار من عدم.
أخونا ذكرها.
The trumpet.
The trumpet, no, that's Yawm al-Qiyamah, khalas.
3 landslides.
3 landslides. One in the east, one in the west, and one is going to come in the Jazirat al-Arab. That's 10. That's 10. In this hadith, when the Nabi told them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ummat al-Islam, okay? This is why we learn, and we should learn these issues right now. So it can roll off your tongue and be in your mind simply like Surah Al-Fatiha. Like Surah Al-Fatiha. The Nabi told them, Yawm al-Qiyamah won't happen until you see 10 major signs before. He said, you're going to see the Dukhan. That's what was not mentioned. يَوْمَ تَأْتِي السَّمَاء بِدُخَانٍ مُبِينٍ. There's going to be some smoke in the heavens. Number 2, the Dajjal. Number 3, the Daba. Number 4, the sun will come from the east and set in the west. Number 5, the coming down of Isa ibn Maryam. Number 6, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, the Gog and the Magog. Number 7, 8, and 9 is the 3 landslides or the 3 big major earthquakes, and they were not the tsunami that happened in Japan or the one that happened before that. They're bigger than that. And number 10 in this hadith, he mentioned sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the fire that will come from Yemen and will drive the people to the Mahshar. So he mentioned those 10. He did not mention the Mahdi in these 10. The scholars said one of the reasons why he didn't mention the Mahdi, and Allah knows best, is that the Mahdi is connected with Isa that was mentioned already in that particular hadith. Those are the 10 major signs. One more time. The Dukhan, the smoke, the Dajjal, the Dabba. All of them start with a D or Da. Dukhan, Dajjal, and the Dabba. And then the next 3, Isa ibn Maryam coming down, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, the sun rising from the west, setting in the east. And then 3 kusuf, 3 landslides, earthquakes. And then after that, the fact that there's going to be a fire that comes from Yemen, and it will lead the people to the Mahshar. So the shahid and the point here is the companions were studying amongst themselves these issues. Sometimes the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would take the initiative to inform them. Sometimes they would ask him. Sometimes they would talk about it themselves. So studying the issue of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah, they're from the way of the companion. That in and of itself is a proof of its importance. Lastly, we know that it's important because the scholars of Islam, they wrote about this issue. They wrote books, past and present, about these major signs. And the reason why I mention this point is because if the ulama of Al-Islam are the best of this ummah, then we have to be connected to them. If the ulama of Al-Islam wrote about an issue and took care of an issue and they talked about an issue, then it is important because they're the best of this ummah. Don't be, you young brothers, don't be like the Muslims and the people who disconnect themselves from the ulama. The ulama are bad and we're the good ones. The ulama, they're in the pocket of the hukam, and we're the ones who are sincere. We love al-Islam, and we don't know anything about the religion. We're ignorant about the religion. But the ulama, they don't know. And when I say that, be connected to the ulama, that doesn't mean that scholars don't make mistakes. The scholar is not the dalil. The scholar is not the proof. But nonetheless, they have a position in this religion unlike anyone else. If I say something that is wrong, I'm accountable for that with Allah Azza wa Jalla. If the scholar of Al-Islam makes ijtihad and he makes it wrong, he's still going to get a reward on the basis of the strength that he's from the ulama of Al-Islam. They're not like anybody else. The Nabi said about them, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-ulama'u warathatul anbiya. The scholars are the inheritors of the prophets. The scholars of this ummah. They're in Yemen, they're in Somalia, they're in Egypt, they're all over the world. Different parts, they're in Pakistan. But which ulama are we talking about right here? We're talking about ulama of the sunnah. Not the ulama of khurafat and shirk and bid'ah. Ulama of the sunnah who teach and cultivate people on following the dalil. Not the scholar who's just a parrot or he says follow what our fathers did or only what the madhab said, ulama of the sunnah. Concerning the issue of the major signs, few points that we want to bring to your attention. The fifth of it is that we should understand studying these issues are not for the mere gathering of information. It's easy just to gather the information and to memorize the 10 major signs. It's easy. But once you memorize them, then what? The goal and the objective of them is to do the works that are necessary, because you know that this is a sign, so therefore Yawmul Qiyamah is close. That was the way of the companions and the way of the people before us. That they would study these things to be a motivation to do the right thing, the good deeds, right? Making tawbah for all of the mistakes and indiscretions that we made. May Allah Ta'ala forgive all of us. The good deeds, like while you're young, praying more, fasting more. While you're young, doing birrul walidain, asking your parents to forgive you, overlook your mistakes, making peace between people you have static with and beef with and problems with, getting out of your heart, hasad, getting out of your heart, hatred, learning how to be easy, lighthearted, and have a rahmah for the people. So it's not about just gathering the information, it's about doing good deeds in preparation for the establishment of Yawmul Qiyamah. And what was collected by the Imam Muslim, Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu ardah. He said that the Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, بادروا بالأعمال ستا طلوع الشمس من مغربها والدجال والدابة. He said, hurry up and do good things before 6 things happen. Hurry up and do the good deeds before 6 things happen. He mentioned 3 of the major signs from those 6. He said, hurry up and do the good deeds before the sun rises from the west. And you'll see why, inshallah. Hurry up and do good deeds before the Dajjal comes. Hurry up and do good deeds before the Dabba comes. And then he mentioned 3 other things that are from the smaller signs and not from the major signs. He told the people, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, إذا قامت القيامة وكانت بيد أحدكم فسيلة فليغرسها إذا استطاع. If Yawmul Qiyamah starts and in the hand of one of you is a seed, then hurry up and bury it before Yawmul Qiyamah. You have a seed, an apple seed, something that people can benefit from. Yawmul Qiyamah starts. The signs, they start. The earth starts to tremble. The sky splits asunder. And the way it's going to happen, it's been mentioned in the Quran. He said, if you have a seed in your hand, hurry up and plant it. The reason why he told the people hurry up and plant it, although people won't be thinking about that. They're going to be overwhelmed by the ghashi. They're going to be overwhelmed by the things that are taking place. The sun splitting and all of that stuff. But he told us in that hadith, hurry up and plant the seed. Why? Because if you try to plant the seed, it's going to be in your mizan of hasanat. So the point here is, Yawmul Qiyamah is close, and these signs, whether they're small or whether they're large, the indications that the life as we know it is going to stop, and people need to do good deeds. So from the fiqh of studying the ashraf of the sign, the major signs and the minor signs, is to do good works. Again, we specify, you young brothers, the Nabi told the people, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, اغتنم خمسة قبل خمسين. Take advantage of 5 things before 5 things. Take advantage of your youth before you come old. And if you look around this masjid right now, again, there are people sitting in chairs and they pray sitting down. There are some of our elders who don't fast in the month of Ramadan. Some of our elders have the ability to go to Hajj, but they're not going to go to Hajj because it's too difficult for them, their situation. And Allah doesn't hold them responsible for that. But the point is, while you are in a state of good health, take advantage of your youthfulness before you get old. By praying more, doing the sunnahs, by fasting more, by going to umrah, by doing multiple umrahs, by doing multiple hajjs, by making the dhikr of Allah before the time comes when you can't do it. He also says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, take advantage of your free time before you become busy. You young brothers, you're not married. You're not married now. When you get married, inshallah, you're going to be busy. You have to run there, you have to run there, you have to go to work, you have to do this. Now that you're free, learn the Quran, learn 40 hadith, go away and travel to some stable country, learn your deen, take advantage of your life before your death. Once you die, that's it, finish. That's it. So the point again, Ikhwani, is studying about these issues, the goal and the objective behind them in the minds and the hearts of the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, was to increase the actions. Concerning these issues of the major signs, the tartib of the major signs is not known except by Allah Azza wa Jalla. How they're going to come is not known. We know some of them, but not all of them. Because there's some ahadith that suggest that the first sign is the sun will rise from the west. And there are other hadith that suggest that the Dajjal is the first sign. So no one can come and say emphatically, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 10. The ahadith that mention that, the first sign is this and the second sign is that, all the way to the 10th, those hadith are fabricated, they're not authentic. The authentic hadith, they don't let us know exactly what's the tartib. The only tartib that we know about the major signs is that 4 of them will come in a row. What comes before them and after them, Allah knows best. From them is the Mahdi will be here. And after the Mahdi, the Dajjal. And after the Dajjal, Isa ibn Maryam will come down. And then the Ya'juj and Ma'juj. From the hadith and the incidents that the Nabi explained about those 4 things, we know their order and we know their tartib. But what's before that, what's after that, those hadith that say the first is this, second is that, and it goes to the 10th, they are not authentic, so we don't really know about the tartib. Number 4, Khwani, concerning the major signs. We've identified the 10 major signs and why they are important. We also explained to you about those issues that the goal, the objective behind them is the fact that we should do works. Number 3, the tartib, only Allah knows. Only Allah knows. But we do know 4 tartib. The Mahdi is first, based upon the discussion in the hadith of the Nabi. And then after he comes, the Dajjal will come after him. And then Isa ibn Maryam will come after that. And then after Isa ibn Maryam, the Ya'juj and Ma'juj. The next point about getting comprehension of this issue is the fact that once some of these major signs happen, there's no opportunity for Tawbah. There are many, many minor signs that are happening right now. The Nabi said that the first minor sign is that Allah sent him. The fact that he came, that's the first sign, Yawm al-Qiyamah is close. بُعِثْتُ أَنَا وَالسَّاعَةُ كَهَاتَيْنِ. He said, I have been sent along with the hour, and he did his fingers like this, meaning we're very close. There's a hadith that says he's the first sign that Yawm al-Qiyamah is close. There are many, many minor signs. What's going on in Iraq right now is a minor sign. What's going on in Afghanistan is a minor sign. What's going on in Somalia is a minor sign that the Nabi told us about all of these issues. What's going on in Syria, may Allah Azza wa Jalla help the Muslims in the Muslim world. What's going on in Syria is from the minor signs. What's going on here in Masjid Rahma in Liverpool, they're all from the minor signs. As for the major signs, there are some major signs, once they happen, there's no tawbah. There are 3. The Prophet told the people, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, ثلاث آيات إذا خرجنا لا ينفع نفسا إيمانها لم تكن آمنت من قبل أو كسبت في إيمانها خيرا. There are 3 signs. If they come out, a person who did not believe before them, his tawbah won't be accepted once they happen. And he went on to mention the first one, the sun coming from the west and setting in the east. Once that happens, there's no tawbah. Whoever's a kafir on that day, he can't become a Muslim after that. Maybe if he saw the other signs, some of the other signs, he can become a Muslim. He can make tawbah. But once the sun comes from the west, no tawbah. One of the reasons for that is people take for granted the orbit of the sun on a daily basis. You go to your house and there's that room where the sun is in the morning. In the kitchen, for an example, you drink your tea or your coffee. And it's there in the morning. It just takes it for granted. The person takes it for granted. It's like that. That's how it goes. When that sun comes up in the west, everybody is going to know this is something different. Everybody is going to have no doubt something is going on. There's going to be no doubt about La ilaha illallah on that day, and therefore there's no tawbah. Just like when death comes to an individual, he can't accept Islam when death comes to him. The second sign is the Dajjal. When the Dajjal comes out, there's no tawbah. No tawbah for the one who wants to make the tawbah. And number three, the Dabba, the big animal. When he comes out, there's no tawbah. And this hadith and this aspect of our iman and these 10 major signs is important because there are some people, they said that the Dabba, or they said that the Dajjal was not mentioned in the Quran, and this is not the case. The Quran did not mention the Dajjal directly by his name, Sarih. That is a fact. But the Muslim is the individual who his religion is based upon the Quran and the Sunnah. There are things that are in the Hadith and the Sunnah that are not in the Quran. And it has just as much ability to legislate as the Quran does. If a person is existing and he says that he only takes the Quran and he doesn't take the Hadith, then there's something wrong with him. His Islam is not true. He's not even a real Muslim. The people who call themselves the Quraniyin, people of the Quran only, and they don't take the Hadith, they're liars. You can't practice Islam with only the Quran. You won't know how to pray this Salat al-Dhuhr that we just prayed. You won't know how to pray Salat al-Asr that we're going to pray inshallah. You don't know how to pray the Salat of al-Eid, the Salat of al-Jum'ah. You don't know how to get married based on the Quran. Not only that, you'll wind up getting married to someone who's haram for you. So many issues. You need that Quran and you need the Sunnah together. The Sunnah explains the Quran. And the Muslim is the one who, if it's only in the Quran, we take it. If it's only in the Sunnah, we take it. If it's in the Quran and the Sunnah, we take it. All of that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Dajjal was mentioned. It was mentioned in Surah Al-An'am. There's an ayah similar to this hadith that we just mentioned. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran in Surah Al-An'am about ayah 120, somewhere around there, يَوْمَ يَأْتِي بَعْضُ آيَاتِ رَبِّكَ لَا يَنْفَعُ نَفْسًا إِيمَانُهَا لَمْ تَكُنْ آمَنَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَوْ كَسَبَتْ فِي إِيمَانِهَا خَيْرًا. In that ayah Allah Azza wa Jalla said, on that day, some of the signs of your Lord will appear. And the one who does not believe in them before that day, their iman on that day won't benefit them at all. This ayat is explained by that hadith that we just mentioned that was collected by the Imam At-Tirmidhi. That Abu Hurairah said that the Nabi says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if those three signs come out, then there's no tawbah. Again, I want to mention that to you again. If someone were to ask you, Abdullah, in your aqidah, what are the three signs from the major signs if they come out? Tawbah won't be accepted, the sun rising from the west, the Dajjal coming out, and the Dabba. So the fact that Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned a similar ayat to this hadith, and the hadith explains the ayat, and that the Nabi identified those ayat as being the Dajjal, it goes to show that the Dajjal is mentioned in the Quran. And even if he wasn't mentioned in the Quran, the Nabi said about the Dajjal, Akbar khalq bayna Adam ila qiyam as-sa' fitnata al-Masih ad-Dajjal. That the biggest fitna between the time that Allah created Adam to Yawm al-Qiyamah is that Dajjal. A person who says, I don't believe in the Dajjal because it's not in the Sunnah, how is he going to protect himself from the Dajjal? Because all of the protection of the Dajjal, what we've been informed, it came to us in the Sunnah. Nothing in the Quran was mentioned about that. So we shouldn't be of the people who are on that way of saying the Quran is this and the Sunnah is that. All of them, both of them are from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Moving on. Another issue about the major signs from the fiqh and the comprehension of them is that once the first one comes, the next one is going to come right after it, and the third one, and the fourth one, the fifth one, all the way to number 10. Unlike these minor signs. The minor signs, the Nabi, he came here, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 1,433 years ago, he made his hijrah. He was sent 1,443 years ago. Relatively speaking, that's a long time. It's not long in comparison to Yawm al-Qiyamah and what's going to happen. But in relationship to our lives, a person lives to be 60, 70, 80, 90, that's a long time. Over 1,400 years, he's been gone. In that time, there are many, many signs, small signs. They took a long time to happen. Some of them didn't happen. Some new ones are happening right now. The major signs are not like that. The major signs, when the first one comes, the second one is going to come, the third one is going to come, the fourth one, all the way to the end. They're going to come in quick succession. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, again, ikhwani, he said, خُرُوجُ الْآيَاتِ بَعْضُهَا عَلَى الْإِثْرِ بَعْض يَتَتَابَعْنَا كَمَا تَتَابَرُ الْخَرْزُ فِي النَّظَامِ. He said the major signs will come out one after another. They will follow each other the same way the beads on a necklace are. So if you have a bead, 10 beads on a necklace, you cut the bead and they start falling off, they're going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they're going to be very quick. It's not for us to ask why, how, but that's the situation that the Nabi informed us of, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So therefore we can eliminate many of the things that the people are saying when they talk without knowledge, that the tsunami of Japan was one of the 3 major earthquakes. Again, that was a devastating earthquake, devastating issue. But the other ones that's going to happen before Yawm al-Qiyamah are going to be bigger than that, more severe than that. The other tsunami before Japan, the one that went to Indonesia and Malaysia and that one is bigger. The ones that are going to come are bigger than that. And if those were from the 3 earthquakes, if they were from the 3 earthquakes, the other major signs would have come out. They would have been connected to them. So the Nabi informed us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, from what we have to understand and comprehend about these major signs from the fiqh of it, the comprehension of it, is unlike the minor signs that take a long period of time, relatively speaking. The major signs, they come out very quickly, very quickly. Before going on to the next point, inshallah, I just want to test you brothers to make sure you're with me. Can anybody tell me what are the 10 major signs for 20 pounds? Can anybody tell me for 20 pounds? What are the 10 major signs? 20 pounds, you can't, even if you get it wrong, you don't have a problem. Who wouldn't put his hand up? For 20 pounds, the 10 major signs. Can anybody get that to me? Anybody want to try?
I'll try.
Tafadli Sheikh Ahmed. We don't have a single person from this ummah, from this community who would even try. Not a single person. We're the students of knowledge from Masjid Rahma. Tafadli ya Sheikh. Ad-Dajjal. Isa ibn Maryam. And the Mahdi is with him. That's 2. The Shams coming from the west. The 3 earthquakes, so that's 6.
The fire from the Yemen.
The fire is 7. Okay, Sheikh Ahmed, he did 7. Now, you young brothers who are in school, there's a hadith that says, As-Sa'id man wu'ida bi-ghayri. As-Sa'id, the one who is happy, the one who is successful, he's the one who learns from someone else's mistake. For an example, someone gets in trouble and he's scolded and he's dealt with. Now once you saw that, you should learn from that. If you can do that, you're Sa'id. Muslims should be su'ada. We should learn from what happened to the Yahud and the Nasara when they invented in their religion. They introduced in their religion. When they got away from their religion. When their women got out of hand. We should learn from that. But in school, there's a student who makes a mistake in giving the answer. But if you're sitting and you're paying attention, you'd have got 7 of them already. Now I'm sure you must have known too that he didn't mention. So now we're going to try again. Sheikh Ahmed mentioned 7. I mentioned the 10 3 times. Now who's going to be the Sa'id from amongst you? Someone give me the 10 major signs.
That's right.
With Navam, Ikhwani, with Navam. One person, just raise your hand. You're another Sheikh. With all due respect, we want some of these Shabab. Because you know, Sheikh, in the school, the teacher asked our Shabab, what's the answer? This is what they do. So I don't know. I don't know. The Sheikh gave 7. The other Sheikh is ready to get in before you young brothers. And I told you, the first 3 start with Dal. Where you guys at? Starts with a D. Sheikh gave 7. 3 of them start with D. You already know some. What are you afraid of? There's a young brother right there. Tfadda ya. The Dajjal. The Dabba. The Dukhan. Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Isa coming down.
The 3 earthquakes.
Good job. The 3 earthquakes. The sun rising from the west. One more, my man. One more. Alright, you lost. I was going to give you $20. You lost. Now again, Ikhwani. Good job, though. Good job. First 3 with a D. And then the other 3 are the sun, the earthquakes.
Smoke.
First 3 are the D. Then 3 are the earthquakes. That's 6 right there. Now you have to just do 4. You know, Isa and the Ya'juj and Ma'juj are together. Come on, guys. Come on. What happened to the emphasis on knowledge that Muslims used to have? I can't believe that you guys would sit there with faces like that, as if you just woke up just now. Which young brother can give me the 10? Young brother, young brother, young brother. Now I'm just going to choose someone. Ahli, you right there. You right there. Go ahead. Yes, yes. Bismillah.
Dajjal.
Abu Bakr. Fadl.
Dajjal. Dabba. Dukhan.
Good. 3.
The 3 earthquakes.
Good. 6. You're smart. You're smart, inshallah.
Ya'juj and Ma'juj.
Ya'juj and Ma'juj.
Isa.
Isa. That's 8. 2 more.
The sun.
The sun. 9. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. That's 9.
And the smoke. No, I've already said this one.
Hey, you already said the smoke. Alright, you lost. You lost. Last one for the $20, Ikhwani. Last one. I've seen you, but you're very far. You see, I have glasses. I can't tell if you're a sheikh or if you're young from that distance. The last one, the last person. Alright, go ahead. You're not from this shabab, so the 20 pounds don't count. Go ahead. Fadda. The Dukhan. Isa.
Smoke from Ali's Island.
The Dukhan. The fire.
Fire, sorry.
The Dabba. Ya'juj and Ma'juj.
Isa connected to the Mahdi.
Isa, number 6.
Dabba, Ya'juj and Ma'juj.
I think you said Dabba, and I think you said Ya'juj and Ma'juj. You're out, you're out. You're eliminated. But I like your hirs, mashallah. Your hair was up for a long time. Who's going to come with a makhraj for us? Fadda. You. What are the 10?
Dajjal.
Yeah, no, this brother. This brother. Okay, this brother. Go ahead.
Dajjal. Dabba. Dukhan. 3 earthquakes.
Good.
Isa.
Good.
Fire from heaven.
Yes.
Ya'juj and Ma'juj.
Yes.
Smoke. Shams.
Fadda ya akhi. What's your name, brother? Stand up for a minute. Abdurrahman. Come on, Abdurrahman. Bring the business for us. 3 D's. Aywa. Aywa. Okay. 3 earthquakes. Ya'juj and Ma'juj. The fire. Again, Ikhwani, I'm going to give it to you and that's it. That's it, inshallah. The 3 D's. The Dabba. The Dajjal. And the Dukhan. The 3 earthquakes. Isa ibn Maryam is going to come down. and connected Ya'juj and Ma'juj. The sun is going to rise from the west. The sun is going to rise from the west. And the fire is going to lead the people from Yemen to where? To the Mahshar, where they're going to be having their hisab. Now I want to ask you guys a question. The Nabi didn't mention the Mahdi in these 10. If you add the Mahdi, that's 11. And he said there are 10 signs. So what do we say about the Mahdi? Why wasn't the Mahdi mentioned? Can anybody tell me that? No. Because it's connected to Isa ibn Maryam. The other issue, Ikhwani, about studying these issues, the Ashrat al-Sa', and all 10 of these, there's a lot of knowledge connected to all of them. All 10 of these, the Dabba, and what happened when the companion Tamim al-Dari, he was with a group of companions and they were shipwrecked. Their ship crashed and it was on the shore, and when they went to look for some wood to fix the ship, to get it together to travel, they saw the Dabba and he was talking to them. So all of these ahadith, they have some details. Each one of these signs have a lot of details, but we're just giving you the general overall importance of some of the fiqh issues connected to them. Like one of the important issues is that all of these issues by themselves are important. They are important. Hudayf ibn al-Yaman, one of the illustrious companions of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, radiyallahu anhu, he said that the people used to ask the Prophet about the good things, and he would ask the Prophet about the bad things, the evil things, out of fear of falling into those things. They used to study about these issues so that they would protect themselves and know what they're doing, knowing how to deal with them and navigate through these issues. And I'll just give you one example, just one example, and all 10 of them are like this. The Dajjal. When is the last time a Muslim man sat with his wife and talked to her about the Dajjal, especially his wife and his children? When's the last time the Imam got on the minbar and gave a khutbah about a Dajjal? When was the last time you sat and you read a book and you wrote down things I need to know about the Dajjal? When was the last time a person took the time out to memorize those ayat that would divinely protect him from the fitna of a Dajjal? There was a tabi'i. His name is Ta'us ibn Kaysan al-Yamani. He's from the ulama of Yemen. He met 50 of the companions. He was from the major tabi'in. He made Hajj 40 times, 40. They said to him, why do you make Hajj so many times? He said, because the companions, radiallahu anhum, used to talk about the Dajjal. And they used to be afraid that he was going to come out. And I'm afraid that if he comes out, if I'm in Mecca, I'll be saved. I'll be saved from his fitna. This man, Ta'us, from the Tabi'in, if his son made salah, and his son didn't do the dua that the Nabi told us to do, Prophet Muhammad told us at the end of your salah, you should seek refuge in Allah from 4 things. Every prayer, Jummah, Eid, Sunnah, Wajib prayer, Duha, Ishraq, every prayer, Istikhara, every prayer. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِذَا تَشَهَّدَ أَحَدُكُمْ فَلْيَسْتَعِذْ مِنْ أَرْبَعٍ يقول اللهم إني أعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المحيا والممات ومن شر فتنة المسيح الدجال. When the Nabi used to make the tashahhud, when you're sitting on your knees, at-tahiyyatu lillah, he will go through that whole thing. And before making salamu alaykum wa rahmatullah, salamu alaykum wa rahmatullah, he will make this dua in every prayer. And he told us, do it in every prayer. This scholar from the Tabi'in, Kaysan, Ta'us ibn Kaysan, he said to his son, did you make this dua? If the son said no, he'll tell his son, do your prayer over again. It's just a sunnah to do this dua. It's not wajib. If you don't say it, your salat is not batila. But why would he do that? Why would he do that? He used to do that to his son, Ikhwani, just about the Dajjal, because the people who are going to be taken off course more than anyone when the Dajjal come are women and children. Women and children. So he used to take the time out to make sure that his son knew what time it was concerning this issue. They used to look at these issues as being serious. And maybe your child is young. You tell him about the Dajjal. He doesn't understand right now. He may say to you, Abby, I found that story fascinating. Come tell me the story about the boogeyman again, the boogeyman. Even if he thinks like that, so what? How many things that our parents tell us when we were young, we didn't understand them when we were young, but as we got older, we realized that's what they were trying to do. That's what they were trying to do. The Nabi used to talk to his companions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about the Dajjal. While he was talking to them, for some reason, he would get distracted and he would look over that way. And the companions would look at the same time. When he looked back at them, he said, what's the matter? He saw that they were terrified. They say, Ya Rasulullah, you were talking to us about the Dajjal and you looked over there. We thought he was about to come out. And the way you told us about him, we were afraid. Because when he comes out, it's a massive problem for your religion. It's a massive problem. Coming to the UK and living in Liverpool, living in the UK, on a daily basis, our Islam is being chiseled at. Our Islamic identity is being lost on a daily basis. The heart, the Islamic heart, a person wants to be good. He or she wants to be good. But because there's so many munkarat that are around us, ghiba is just not natural. It's okay. Khurafat, shirk, bid'ah, and ma'siyahs is all around us. To the point that now the ma'ruf is the munkar and the munkar is the ma'ruf. In the Muslim world, there are a lot of problems in the Muslim world, but our life is different. Our adab, the way we behave is different. So you'll find many people saying, I want to go back with my children to where I come from, but economically or stability-wise, I'm not going to do it. So while we're here, just being here is a challenge. What do you think is the case if and when the Dajjal is going to come? It's going to be a fitna. Someone here has the most money. Someone here is going to die before everybody else. May Allah cause us all to die in Islam and the Sunnah. Someone here is going to live the longest. Someone here is going to live the longest. Someone here is the most ignorant one from amongst us. And someone here is the most knowledgeable. Allah knows the reality of all of that. The most knowledgeable person from amongst us is going to be threatened, his Islam, by Dajjal. He'll sell his religion and start worshiping Dajjal. Everybody here. To the point that the best thing to do is, when he comes, if you hear about it, don't go to be inquisitive. Go the other way. Because a man will think his religion is strong. He'll go, and the Dajjal is going to trip him up. So those companions who taught this man, Al-Imam Tawus Ibn Kaysan Al-Yamani, Rahimahullah wa radiyallahu ta'ala and the Sahaba, that man used to look at his kid, just in this issue, learn that dua, say that dua. You didn't say that dua, do it again. Look what the Nabi said, just about the Dajjal, not all of the other fitna. This is the biggest fitna. The Nabi told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا يخرج الدجال حتى يذهل الناس عن ذكره وتترك الأئمة ذكره على المنابر. The Dajjal will not come out. He's not going to come out until the people stop mentioning him. The people won't take the time out to teach their family and to talk to their family about Dajjal. He won't come out until the imams, they stop mentioning him on the minbar. There won't be a khutbah about the Dajjal. No mention will be about the Dajjal. And when the people are in that state of ghafla, they're in that state of not being aware, he's going to come out and he's going to shock the people. So the point here is, all of these 10 signs, all of them, each one of them is important in its own right, like every aspect of the deen of Islam. It's our responsibility, ikhwani, to become students of knowledge to your ability, to the best of your ability, to the best of your ability, to learn those things that are going to push away from us not knowing, and to bring forth to us and our families those things that are going to benefit us, especially the issues concerning the ilm al-ghayb and our aqidah. who Allah is and who He isn't. The Nabi is not from the nur of Allah. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam is not omnipresent. He doesn't know the ilm al-ghayb. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has a place that befits His majesty, befits the way He is, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to know these issues and not be on a religion that, again, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali, they wouldn't be able to identify the religion that some of the people are upon, the ideas and concepts that some people are calling to, fighting for, holding on to tenaciously. So the call here, the message here is going back to the blueprint, and the blueprint was what those companions were upon, radiallahu anhum ajma'in. You revert Muslims, as I mentioned in this masjid, over and over and over again. You more than anybody else. You more than anybody else. You have to come to know, and you have to come to buy into this concept. The Islam that Allah Azza wa Jalla is going to accept from us Yawm al-Qiyamah is not necessarily the Islam of that sheikh or this sheikh or that sheikh or that individual or this madhab or that madhab. And the madhabs are okay, but there's no human being and there's no system that is infallible other than the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the system that the companions were upon. That's what's infallible. Their system was infallible. What was the deen during their time? As Imam Malik said, is the deen today. And what was not the deen during their time is not the deen today. Simple formula to give you divine protection. Lastly, off of this point a little bit, but it is connected to this point. When in the newspaper today, in the media today, there's a continual, perpetual onslaught where the people are disrespecting the Nabi of al-Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam, non-Muslims. They are victims of their own ignorance many times. They don't know. And many non-Muslims believe that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a warmonger and that he was a blood shedder. He loved to shed blood and he was barbaric and that he was a womanizer. Many of these kuffar, they are victims of their own ignorance. They just don't know. Being a non-Muslim growing up, when in a history class we came to Islam, it was about 3 pages, and they had some lies about the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The mass media, they give lies about the Nabi, marrying Aisha, issues like that. So some people who are ignorant from the kuffar, they're not necessarily bad people, they're just victims of their own ignorance. And many times we Muslims don't help. When they had that thing, Draw Muhammad Day, Muslims went crazy around the world. Some Muslims in Egypt, they killed a priest. Some Muslims in another part of the world, they killed a volunteer from the Red Cross who was in the Muslim country trying to help them, volunteering. The Muslims stormed the embassies and they burnt property and they damaged property. They burnt flags of America and effigies of presidents and ministers of the kuffar. When the kuffar saw those images in the media, they said, these people are crazy. Kuffar, they have a wrong idea about our religion because they're victims of their own ignorance and also because of us. They work with us. They work with us. They work with us. And we lie and we cheat and we're not on time. We're not professional. They work with us. This one, he shakes hand with a lady. The next one, he shakes hand like that one. The third one, he gives her this. And the fourth one says, I don't shake hands. She says, what's your religion? Which one of you four are showing me what's the religion? We do it. They look at our countries and they say, look at Syria. If these people were on the religion of truth, why would they be killing their own people like that? They look at some of the countries where we come from. Don't take any offense, but it's a fact. They look at our country, Somalia. They had a meeting 2 weeks ago about our country. These people were really on the truth. Why can't they come together and solve their own problems? These are the shubahat that kuffar have. Yemen, Egypt, Pakistan. Now if you're from Egypt, don't sit there saying, why did he name Egypt? If you're from Yemen, Sheikh Ahmed is not going to say, why did he say Yemen? Because he knows, it's a fact. If you're from Somalia, don't sit there and say, why did he say Somalia? The kuffar, They have a wrong and bad image of Islam because of the way we are. They say, if their religion was really a religion of Rahma, why are they acting like this? Why are they like that? So one of the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah, Ya Ikhwani, is the way the Muslims are understanding their religion and the way that we are behaving in our religion. Again, the call here, this dars, is about information, ma'lumat, the fiqh of the major signs, but we also have a religious obligation as individuals to do the best that we can possibly do to give a good image about our Nabi, the Nabi of Ar-Rahmah. He was the Nabi of Ar-Rahmah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He had Rahmah for every category of people. He wasn't a bloodshedder, he wasn't a murderer, he wasn't a womanizer. As a matter of fact, he was a Rahmah for the Nisa. He was a Rahmah for the person who has special needs. He was a Rahmah for his enemies. He was a Rahmah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for the Shabab who are sitting here. And there are too many examples that we can give about how the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had so many examples of Rahmah to the Shabab who are sitting here, Rahmah to the Shayukh, Rahmah to the Ajuz, Rahmah to every category from the Asnaf of the Mujtama. It's our job and our duty to try to do a better job. And al-kamal, completeness and perfection, is only with Allah Azza wa Jalla. We want to spread this message of understanding this aspect of the akhlaq of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, hoping that Allah ta'ala writes it for us in our mizan of hasanah. And we ask Allah by His Ism al-A'zam to give us the tawfiq, inshallah, and the thabat and the sadat in the dunya and in the hereafter. هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.